What up, y'all? In this video, I want to talk about how I believe, feminism taught women to solely value their own emotions and their own decision making to the point where they will not allow a man essentially to make a decision that they can trust, right? So I want to talk about that specifically in relation to, asking out a woman, right? Like, I feel like, you know, like back in the day, if you asked out a woman, right, if you had the courage to do that, you were seen as, I'm just assuming, you were seen as the more rational person, right? Like, the one who has more courage is more rational because that person can actually stand up and go against their emotions, right? But these days it's like you can ask out a woman and it's like if she's scared to go out, she's scared of men, she's taught, you know, that is your emotion, so that is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're taught that to go right along with their emotions. And that, I believe, is a big reason why it can be so hard to get dates these days. Like, I feel like it, you know, if if a society is balanced, between masculinity and femininity, like, a woman may be hesitant, but 50% of herself wants to go out with the man because he is taking over, right? He has the courage to ask her out, so she's just gonna, be like, okay, this guy has courage, and I lack that, so I need to go out with him, right? Because that's rational. Like, most women cannot ask out a man. They can barely even send a text to a man. So a rational woman thinks, oh my gosh, this guy asked me out, I don't have the ability to do this myself, so this guy obviously has a second half of me that I'm lacking. This guy has something that I don't have in myself, right? But modern women, they're taught, oh girl, you have everything that you need, and it's okay that you're scared, right? And it's okay that you're too scared to go on a date. So they're essentially, their ego is pumped up. A healthy woman understands, okay, I am scared, all right? So if a man has the courage to ask me out, he must be going against his emotions. He must have the ability to tame his emotions more than I can, right? And then she would value that. But these modern women, they're taught, oh no, man doesn't have anything that I don't have. But, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense, right? They're taught, oh, just go along with your own fears, and that's rational. But they don't even understand that, in a sense, like, yeah, I don't know, it doesn't quite make sense. So it's like, it's hard out there. Like, you can go balls to the wall, like, asking out women, you're scared as hell, and it's like they just taught not to value it. Many of them just don't care. They're not impressed, even though it's like they're delusional. They're actually delusional. Like, you're doing something that they would never have the ability to do. Most women could never walk up to a woman and walk up to a man and ask him out on a date. She could never do that. But they're somehow taught, oh girl, you can do anything. Oh yeah, you have every power. You're destined for greatness. Blah 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 blah. But they don't. So they're so delusional that they don't even know how to appreciate the things that they can't do. Like, a woman should, not look to herself so much. You shouldn't be like, oh, I'm scared to go out on the date. It's not about you. The woman eventually, like you're gonna rely on the man. So allow him if he asks you out, of course there's gonna be some fears, right? But I feel like a lot of those fears with the modern women is not even rational. It's like, you see a lot of these modern women, out and about, walking in the city by themselves, you know, like all the time, like going home alone, blah blah blah. But yet they're scared to go out with a man, like in a public space, like in the middle of the mall, in a coffee shop or something like that. So I don't buy that it's like this fear of like getting essayed or whatever. I don't know what words I'm allowed to say on this YouTube, but I don't necessarily think that that's what it is. I think it's literally that they have been taught to value their own emotions. They're just too scared, and they won't allow the man's courage to fill in for their lack of courage, because they're just taught that they're everything. Oh girl, you don't need nothing, you know. Oh yeah, you don't need a man's courage. You can ask out a man. Oh, but I know that we don't ask out men because there's no men who are good enough. It's like, no, you just don't have the courage. It's that simple. It's that simple. But yeah, it's just a whole problem of women being taught to value female emotions. It's just a feminine society, right? Anytime society becomes feminine, you have women who are caving into their emotions. They don't want to do anything courageous or any sort of solving conflicts. This is why women don't solve conflicts these days. If there's one misunderstanding, they just ghost, block you, run away, because we're living in a feminine society. We're living in a society that allowed women to avoid conflict, right? Because that's a feminine trait, avoiding conflict. We allowed that, or I don't know how we allowed it, but that seems to be where we're at. We're in a feminine society that is going to allow women to just doom themselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know, it just is whack. It's really whack. All right. But try to find a woman who does have the, courage to go out, who will want to not just rely on her own emotions, but will actually look to you for what your emotions are. And hopefully, your emotions are desire to take over or to be courageous. And yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of ranting now, but a lot of this is just not your fault. It's literally not your fault. Like, society allowed women to be women, and essentially what that means is that women will be scared, anxious, and angry. That's basically what it is: scared, anxious, angry. Because I think that's what the liberal movement is. That's what feminism is, and it's gonna allow it essentially to take them over like some sort of anxiety disorder. I'm not saying that there isn't valid reasons why they have those thoughts, but yeah, I don't know. It's not always your fault. Be patient for a good woman. All right, peace out.